focusing on the lower body. So you'll need your reformer, a small ball, and a yoga block for today's class. We're gonna get started with footwork, so go ahead and set on your footwork springs that you would normally do. I do 3 red springs and 1 blue, and I'm gonna have my head rest in the upright position, and we'll go ahead and start lying down with your small ball between the knees. Position the heels of your feet on the foot bar. In line with your sit bones, you want a gentle squeeze on the ball. Flex your feet, 10 toes facing up towards the ceiling. If you're ready, take an exhale, press the carriage all the way out, extending the legs all the way straight. Inhales, resisting, coming almost all the way back into the stopper. And again, exhales, press it out. And resist it in. And keep going. We'll work in neutral here, so keep a soft, natural curve in the small of your lower back that does not get bigger or smaller. And you should be able to straighten your knees at pretty much the exact same time. That ball might give you a little bit of trouble doing that. Do the best you can. It's part of the challenge. We're also working to keep our feet flexed and upright, as stable as possible in space. Squeezing the glutes on the way in, resisting the tension of those springs. On your next one, we'll bring it back in approximately halfway. Start to pulse the carriage out and in just a few inches or so. Again, be intentional with your movement, no bouncing or ricocheting off the bar. Stay deep in your squat, find stillness with your carriage, and pulse the ball with your knees. You should feel your inner thighs working to squeeze that ball nice and hard. Hang in there. Hold the ball tight with tension. Start to pulse the carriage out and in a few more inches here. And then press the carriage all the way out once and bring it all the way back in. Then we'll change our foot position so that our toes are on the foot bar, still apart in line with the knees, heels high. Exhales, press the carriage all the way out, extend the legs all the way straight. Inhales, bring it almost all the way back in, and continue out, and in. Nice high heels, keeping most of your weight situated towards your big and second toes. It's a little harder here on the balls of the feet, because those heels are high, so it increases the amount of tension on the springs. The further you slide out, the more tension there is. Bring it in approximately halfway. Start to pulse the carriage. Double check you still have a soft, natural curve in your low back. Stay deep in your squat, pulse the ball with your knees. Holding the ball tight, lower and lift your heels for ankle isolations. Remember, your carriage is still off the stopper. Quads should be burning. Keep the heels in the raised position. Press all the way out one time and come all the way back in. Last foot position is going to be heels up on the bar in a Pilates V. So heels together, toes apart. Again, arms anchored at your sides. Sliding out, squeeze the ball as hard as you can. Resist coming back in. This one you will not be able to straighten your legs all the way. Just do the best you can. It should really burn. Save the best for last. Hang in there. Pressing evenly through those heels. Working just as hard on the way in as you are on the way out. Bring it in halfway, small pulses of the carriage. Stay deep in your squat, hold it. Pulse the ball with your knees. Hold the ball tight, pulse the carriage. Press all the way out one time and come all the way back in. We're still gonna keep that ball between the knees, arches of the feet parallel on top of the foot bar, just apart enough so that they're in line with the knees. If you have your head rest up, go ahead and lower it down because we're going into bridge work. Arms will come down by our sides. Without moving the carriage, take an exhale to imprint the lumbar spine, squeeze the glutes, and slowly roll the hips all the way up one vertebrae at a time into a spinal bridge. At the top of the bridge, take a breath in. Exhale, roll your spine back down to the carriage, one piece at a time. Through imprint, back to neutral spine. Again, take a breath in. Exhales, re-imprint, squeeze the glutes, roll the hips up slowly. Take a breath in at the top, squeeze the ball harder, and exhale, roll down. Continue cycling through these here about 2 more times. Focusing on the quality of the movement of your spine, piece by piece, vertebrae by vertebrae. At the top of this next bridge, we'll remain in our lifted up position. Begin to pulse the ball, squeeze it. Relax your neck and shoulders. Feel that your feet are parallel, your arches are evenly weighted. Holding the ball tight with some tension, pulse the hips up and down several inches. Every time you lift your hips up higher, squeeze the ball a little bit harder. Without rolling through the spine, turn this into hip hinges. Lower your hips all the way down, pick them all the way up. Straight down, straight up. Each time you lift your hips up, squeeze the wall extra hard. Noticing the backs of the legs working together, glutes and hamstrings. At the top of the next bridge, stay lifted. You're gonna keep your knees side by side so that you don't drop your ball. Extend the right leg forward in front of you on a diagonal. Place it back down, switch. Alternate with these knee extensions. Feel your abdominals working to stabilize your pelvis, keeping the hips lifted and level. Keep even weight through the backs of your shoulders and keep your neck relaxed. Last 2. Last time. 2 feet on the bar, lift the hips up a little bit higher, reach your arms a little straighter, roll the spine all the way down. Then we'll go ahead and set ourselves all the way up with that ball. Don't let it get too far away from you. We're gonna change our spring setting. So we're going into leg straps. I'm just gonna have on one red and one blue. And then grab your straps. I like to hang them up around the shoulder blocks. Make sure they're not twisted or tangled. And then I'm also gonna put my headrest back up. Grab your ball and lie back down with your ball. So we'll slide the carriage out and place the arches of the feet into the straps. Keep your ball with you, you need it. Once you have your feet inside your straps, take your ball and position it between your ankles. Legs are parallel, arms come down by your sides. Establish a little bit of tension and find your neutral spine. So there's a natural curve in your lower back. Taking an exhale, press the legs down towards the foot bar, squeezing the ball really hard, and you can flex your feet. Pointing the feet, return the legs up to the ceiling, stopping your feet roughly above your hips. And again, exhale, press the legs down, squeeze the ball harder, and inhale, resist coming up. Let's lift and lower those straight legs a few more times. Making sure that you're not lowering your legs so low that your back arches more. Keep it the same. On the next one, we'll meet with the legs low, about the height of the foot bar. Flexing the feet, start to pulse the ball, try to pop it. Your knees are straight without being hyperextended. So if you're a chronic hyperextender, soften them. You should feel your inner thighs. Keeping the legs parallel and the feet flexed, Bend both knees to tabletop, getting your straps to go perfectly above the top of your shins, and then push back out towards the foot bar. Inhale, bend the knees in. Exhale, extend the legs out. Continue, in, and out. Be mindful that when you bend your knees in, they stop roughly above your hips. They're not coming too close to you, so that you can still keep neutral. On the next one, keep the legs straight and low towards the bar. Pulse the ball, try to pop it. Bend the knees in, grab the ball for a moment with your hands, and then we're gonna adjust the position of the ball so that it's just between the heels of the feet. Extend the legs up to the ceiling and turn the legs out. So now we're in our Pilates V with just the heels on either side of the ball. Keeping the legs straight, let's repeat everything that we just did. So just straight legs up and down slowly. I would just keep my feet kind of flexed this whole time, because otherwise you might drop that ball. Inner thighs should burn quite a bit. See if you can relax your upper body. On the next one, keep the legs low, about the height of your foot bar. Pulse the ball, digging in with those heels. Doesn't look like much, but burns a ton. Now, keeping that ball, bend your knees in, letting the knees open for frog. Straps should go between the knees. Push back out towards the bar. Resist as you bend those knees wide to the sides. Exhales, re-extend straight. A few more. Again, still working to keep a natural curve in that low back. Don't lose it. Let's do this 2 more times. Last time, we'll meet with low straight legs at the bar, still turned out. Pop that ball. Squeeze it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, remove the ball. You can set that off to the side. Take a butterfly stretch, bring the soles of your feet together, and let your feet kind of drop down by your springs. Gently extend the right leg off to the side. Continue pulling the strap with your hands so you have control over the amount of stretch you feel. Bring the right leg back in, gently open out the left side. Keep even weight through the back of your hips. Remove your feet from your straps, finding the foot bar with your feet, and then you can drop your straps down onto the ground. And we'll carefully set ourselves up from there again, and then we're gonna set ourselves up for some sideline footwork. So for that, I like to do 2 reds and 1 blue. And then I'm gonna use a yoga block as a pillow for the head. You could also use your ball again, or if you wanna just use your arm, you could do that too, whatever you typically do for some sideline work. So we'll lay down, making sure that you take your hips to the bottom back corner of the carriage. Head's gonna come onto that yoga block. Make sure you're nice and comfy as we can be. Your top foot is gonna come onto the foot bar. You want your toes all the way to the very front edge of the bar, and then the bottom leg is gonna extend out straight, and you're gonna flex your feet. From here, press the carriage all the way out, extending the top leg on the bar all the way straight. Resist coming back in, stopping just before the stopper, and then going back out again, and resisting in. Keep both feet flexed. Your bottom leg is nice and active so that it's not gonna get smashed on the bottom platform there. Keep that leg lifted up just enough. Knees tracking straight forward over the second and third toe on the way in. Both sides of your waist are also trying to stay the same length as each other, so keep your hip out of your rib cage. carriage is in approximately halfway, start to pulse the carriage here. Stay deep in your squat, hold the carriage halfway out, lift and lower the bottom leg all the way up to the foot bar and down to your platform. Keep the bottom leg lifted up slightly, pulse the top leg. And press the carriage all the way out one time and come all the way back in. Go ahead and rest for a moment as you adjust your feet. You're gonna move your heel on the bar and then you're gonna pull it back approximately halfway, maybe a little less if we're a little bit tighter through the hips. Both legs are rotated, so now as you slide the carriage out, you're gonna lift up your bottom leg to meet the top leg and then resist coming back in, let the bottom leg lower down slightly. Exhale to press out, lift the bottom leg up to meet the top leg, resist in it. At this point, you need to point your bottom foot. If you keep it flexed, you will stub your toes on your platform. But you can still keep the foot on the bar flexed. Hang in there. Lots of legs today. Coming in halfway, small pulses of the carriage. Stay deep in the squat, lift and lower the bottom leg all the way up to the bar, down to the platform. Feeling the burn through the top leg. Slide all the way out one time, squeeze the legs together tightly, and come all the way back in, slowly. Good, okay. From there, we'll take our time coming up and turning around for the other side. Remember to scoot your hips to the bottom back corner of the carriage. Give yourself plenty of space. Make sure your head is comfy on that yoga block or whatever you're using. Top foot is on the bar. We'll start parallel with our toes all the way at the front. Bottom leg is straight. Flex your feet. From here, press all the way out, extending the top leg straight. Resist coming back in. You can always bring your top hand to your top hip, which can serve as a nice reminder to keep your hips out of your ribs. Feel that both sides of your waist are the same length as each other. You're working just as hard on the way in as you are on the way out. Bottom leg is staying active just enough so that you're not going to hit your ankles on the platform. Bring your next one in approximately halfway, pulse the carriage. Intentional with our movements here. Stay deep in your squat, find stillness, lift and lower the bottom leg. Move that bottom leg like it has ankle weights on, so with a little bit of resistance. Keep the bottom leg lifted up just slightly, press all the way out one time, and come all the way in. Resting as we adjust our foot position. Heel is on the bar, we're gonna turn those legs out evenly. You're gonna slide the carriage out, lift the bottom leg up to meet the top leg, feel your inner thighs and calves touch, and resist coming back in. You wanna make sure that your hips are still staying stacked, so you're not rolling your pelvis backwards. If you're a little bit tighter in your external rotation, you might not have your foot as far back on the bar, which is fine. Let's bring the next one in, halfway. Small pulses of the carriage. Keep your foot on the bar stable. Really feeling the burn here. Stay deep in your squat, lift and lower your bottom leg. Keep your bottom abs nice and tight to the spine. Slide the carriage out one time, squeeze the legs together tightly, and come all the way back in. We'll carefully rise ourselves up from there. Made it through, and then we'll ditch our yoga blocks, so you can set those off to the side. Next, we're going to be taking our foot bar down as we move into a standing series. If you're on a Marathon reformer and you have a platform, you'll definitely want to grab that for what we're about to do. If you don't have a platform extender, you're on maybe a balanced body piece of equipment, that's fine. You can just use the standard wood platform on your reformer. We're doing our adductor work, so you can make it really evil on yourself and do one white spring if you want, or you can stick to a blue spring, which is a little less mean, so it's up to you. I'm gonna just stay on a blue today, because I wanna be able to walk tomorrow, so stick to the blue. And then to get on your reformer, I'm gonna come around on this side. It's always best to stand on the platform side first, the stable, non-moving part, and then move your other foot onto the carriage here. About halfway out onto the reformer, maybe a little bit less, depending on your personal flexibility. Feet parallel, hands to hips, and standing tall. From here, slide the carriage out slowly, coming to a complete stop, and then growing taller as you use your inner thigh muscles to pull the carriage all the way back into the stopper. Repeating, sliding out, come to a complete stop, and then slowly pull all the way in. So let's do 5 of those, and then we'll progress from there. So this is number 3. Feel even weight through your feet. Keep the pinky toe side of your foot in contact with your reformer. On your 5th one here, keep the carriage squeezed all the way in tight to the stopper. Don't let it creep out on you. Arms will now come down by your sides. You're going to slowly slide the carriage out, floating the arms up to shoulder height. Stay here. Take a forward fold, bring your arms all the way down, dropping your head with your arms. Keeping your hands in line with your head, flat back, rise all the way up to upright. Make sure you drop your tailbone down, and then pull the carriage in and open the arms. Let's do that 4 more times. So we go out, come to a complete stop, take a forward fold, stay forward in the balls of your feet, drop your head and arms, flat back to rise with your hands in line with your head. When you come up, drop your tail, open the arms, and come in. So let's do that 3 more times. Out. If you're on that white spring, good job, hang in there. It's tough. The lighter the spring is, the harder this exercise is for the inner thighs. Last 2. One more here. Take your time, no rush. When you finish this last one, we'll meet with the carriages all the way into the stopper. Hands coming onto the hips. Feel that your pelvis is neutral, tailbone faces the ground. And then stand onto the stable platform side of your reformer. Shake it out, and then we'll go ahead and turn around for the other side. So one foot stays on the platform, other foot goes out onto the carriage, just shy of halfway out. Hands to hips, sliding the carriage out slowly, come to a complete stop, and then pull all the way back in, tap the stopper. Repeat, out, come to a complete stop, and grow taller, pull in. 5 in total. And both legs working just as hard as each other. Make sure it's not just the one on the carriage that's working. On your 5th one, keep the carriage pulled all the way in tight to the stopper. Hold it there. Lower your arms down by your sides. Slide the carriage out, floating the arms up to shoulder height. Take a forward fold, drop your head and arms down. With a flat back and hands in line with the head, rise up slowly. Drop your tailbone and then grow taller as you pull the carriage in and open the arms out to the side. 4 more. Out. Completely stop the carriage as you lean forward. Keep it stable as you flat back, rise up. Open the arms, grow taller, pull in. Both sides of those legs, inner thighs should be warm. I think this is our last one here. If I count wrong, just ignore me and keep going. I think that was 5. We'll keep the carriages in tight to the stopper. We'll meet there, hands returning to the hips. Squeeze and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand on the platform side of your reformer, and then carefully make your way down onto the solid ground. Next up is going to be speed skaters. So we're going to change our springs to something a little bit heavier. So for this, I like a blue and a white spring. You could also just do like one red. So it's basically the same weight, a blue and a white and one red. And then if you still need this heavier, you can do a red and a white, but I probably wouldn't recommend that, okay? I like to take my yoga block, since we have them out today, and wedge it between the carriage and the platform extender. This is gonna work to help keep the carriage out a little bit further and prevent us from bashing into our stopper. So we'll get onto the carriage the same way, onto the platform side first, and then the carriage second. This exercise, we want our feet a little bit closer or a lot closer together so that they're right at their respective edges of the things that they're on. You're gonna have your hands come onto your hips, squat down to begin. Make sure your knees are tracking over your second and third toe. You've got your abs in, you have a natural curve in your low back. You're gonna press the carriage leg out and in about 15 to 20 times, I would say, until you get a pretty sufficient burn through both sides of your glutes. Move with a little bit more power and speed than we did with the previous exercise. Once you finish however many you're doing, again, we'll stand on the platform side of the reformer and we'll turn around on the stable platform side, okay? Right, so feet parallel right at their respective edges, hands to hips, squatted down, take speed skater, pressing the carriage leg out and in, about 15 to 20 times. Medium to fast tempo. Don't slow down, keep going as you get tired. And when you're all finished, carefully stepping down onto the solid ground. I'm going to come around to the other side so I'm facing you guys. We'll finish here with a little glute stretch. So just a standard figure 4 stretch, cross an ankle over the knee, flex your foot, and then take a forward fold over that front leg. You can apply some slight downward pressure into your top knee to help increase the stretch you're feeling in your glutes. Take some deep breaths. Go ahead and switch legs. Flex your foot, keep your ankle nice and safe, and take a forward fold. Okay. We'll end there today. Thank you guys so much for joining me for class. Hope you guys feel great. Catch you guys all next time. Take care. Bye.